Patrick's eyes opened to unfamiliar brightness. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, but something felt wrong. He glanced at his watch. 7:30. That couldn't be right. He and Evelyn always woke at 9, exactly 9, every single day. He couldn't recall ever waking before that time, not once. The realization sent a chill through him. He slipped quietly from bed, careful not to disturb Evelyn, and walked to the window. Outside, the city lay empty and silent. No movement, no life. He dressed quickly and sat down to think, trying to piece together fragments of memory that felt just out of reach. When Evelyn finally woke 2 hours later, she found him still sitting there. Her concern grew when he explained he wasn't hungry, that he hadn't eaten in days. She reached for the phone to call the doctor, but Patrick stopped her. Something was becoming clear to him now. Baking class, boating, lunch by the sea, tennis, dinner, movies. The same routine, day after day. But Patrick pressed her with questions she couldn't answer. When did they arrive here? Why did they come? How long had they been here? Her face went blank with each question. She simply couldn't remember. At breakfast, Patrick observed everything with new eyes. Everyone wore the same style of clothing in different colors, marking different levels. They ate the same meals without question, smiled the same empty smiles, followed the same routines. He noticed Robert sitting nearby and remembered something important. Robert had cut his leg badly weeks ago, had been taken to a hospital by helicopter. But when Patrick mentioned it, Robert stared at him blankly, denying it had ever happened, even as the scar remained visible on his skin. Tom, the sports organizer, appeared concerned by Patrick's behavior and asked him to come to his office. Patrick refused and walked away, his mind racing. He needed answers. He made his way to the 30th floor, where the organizers lived. Tom followed him into the elevator, reaching for an alarm button on the wall, but Patrick moved faster. He struck Tom once, knocking him unconscious, surprising himself with skills he didn't know he possessed. He sent the elevator down and continued upward alone. On the roof, Patrick found a large helicopter. As he looked at it, knowledge flooded back. Bell 214, 18 seats, twin engines. He had worked in a helicopter factory once. But when? And why had he stopped? The questions multiplied. He climbed inside and hid among empty boxes marked in multiple languages. The helicopter lifted off, flying over valley after valley, each containing identical cities filled with people living identical lives. Finally, they landed at a small airport, surrounded by factories and real, messy, complicated life. A man named Jack found Patrick and took him to a cluttered office, so different from the sterile perfection of Terra Vista. Jack explained everything. 9 years ago, unemployment had devastated the world. Computers had replaced human workers. Riots and hunger threatened civilization. Governments built cities like Terra Vista as a solution, sending millions of unemployed people on permanent holidays, keeping them docile with drugged food, erasing their memories, preventing them from reproducing or remembering their former lives. Patrick felt horror and disgust. Jack told him he had a choice. He could take a drug and wake up tomorrow in Terra Vista, remembering nothing, or he could stay in the real world. Return to London, work hard for little pay, struggle through difficult days, but live as a free man. Jack mentioned that only 2 or 3% of people ever left the cities each year, and about half of those eventually chose to return. The easy life called them back. Patrick thought about Evelyn, still sleeping peacefully in her scheduled existence. He thought about the empty smiles, the forgotten conversations, the endless identical days stretching into forever. He thought about hunger and exhaustion and struggle, about memories that stayed and moments that mattered. He looked at Jack and smiled. The choice was already made. He would stay, live. He would be free, whatever the cost. Some prisons had walls and bars, others had sunshine and schedules and smiles that meant nothing. He had escaped, and he would never go back. Not today, not next year, not ever. Freedom, he realized, wasn't about comfort. It was about being truly, dangerously, beautifully alive.